Testing, testing. Hello, everyone. See if we can say hello in the chat if you can hear us. I'm Joe. I'm joined here tonight by Shadows, our head ref at GGLeagues. How's it going tonight? We're going to hop into this, guys. Hopefully, it shouldn't take up too much of your time. Thank you for all coming. If you aren't able to catch the whole meeting or you have other people that want to catch the meeting, we will put this up on YouTube afterwards, hopefully sometime tomorrow. Like I said, we're gonna try to keep this as short as possible. Be cognizant of your time. Most of the info in this presentation is going to be reminders that we've already sent out over email. So just a heads up on that. You can ask questions in the chat, but hopefully we'll get to them at the end. We'll definitely get to them at the end, but we'll see if we can get to them, kind of when we're going through this stuff here. Like I said, Shadows is joining me here. He's going to be the main point of contact for everyone on our league nights. This is a little bit of a change up from our past, since we are going to be adding a new referee as well. Anything league related outside of those times, feel free to send me a message, Joe, over Discord. You can hit up Shadows as well, but he will be the one who's going to be handling a lot of the score reporting and anything rule related once we get started with the season. But we'll dive into it here. We're going to be, do let us know in the Discord. Actually, we'll get to that in a second. If you aren't in Discord, everyone should be in Discord. But if you aren't, feel free to hit up the roles channel. We did update the roles with our fall games. I don't think we have Valorant in there yet, but we are going to get that added. So if you are a Valorant player, just hold tight. We'll get to it over the next couple of days here. Do let us know in the Discord channel, Fall Captains Meeting Roll Call, if you are here. It will help us kind of keep tabs on, who was able to catch the captain's meeting. Just feel free to drop your school. Getting into the information here, everyone should know this stuff, like I said, but we're just going to run through it in case we've got a lot of new teams joining us for the meeting. All of our Central games, we did move those, of course, to 8 p.m. Central on Wednesdays, and all of our Eastern region games, of course, will be on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. In response to the feedback and due to the merging of several of our Eastern leagues, we're going to be, of course, as you might know, allowing teams up to 2 full weeks to reschedule matches. I believe in past seasons you had up until Sunday night. We changed that up, obviously. I think that's for the better. We do, of course, there is the exception of the final 2 weeks in the playoffs. If there's only a week left in the regular season, you, of course, won't get 2 weeks to finish your games. And the playoffs, those are 3 consecutive weeks that those happen. So, of course, you won't get even a full week at that to complete your games. More information on those deadlines specifically for those few weeks as we get closer to them. But do know you have 2 full weeks from your play date to play your matches. We also are asking teams to kind of be mindful of the fact that we had a lot of teams merge from our Eastern leagues. So there are going to be a few Eastern teams that might ask you to play their games on Thursday or maybe at a different time. Given you do have 2 full weeks, we are hoping that most teams are cooperative of this and are, open to open to rescheduling their games if a team is requesting it. So just be mindful of that. I believe we did have a good amount of Eastern League teams move over to our Central League teams. So just be prepared for that as well. They should have already reached out to you if that's something that's going to be consistent. So just a heads up. A few last to-dos for people. All the captains, you need to fill out the captain form by the end of the day today. There's not going to be a penalty for it or anything like that, but I really need to know this information from you. Basically, your Discord ID as well as your in-game ID for whichever game you're playing. This is so we can have that information on hand in Discord so teams can get a hold of each other. So if you haven't filled that out, every single player, not just the captains, every single player did receive an email a couple days ago that includes that captain's form link. If you do need that link again, I will drop it in Discord in the announcements channel after this presentation. So please do make sure that the captains get that filled out as soon as possible so we can make sure we populate those captains channels by tomorrow and ensure everyone has access to each other's information. Of course, make sure your rosters are correct as well. We've given teams plenty of information in terms of what divisions you belong in. So teams that have players who don't qualify for their division will be unable to play. This is, of course, prior to sign up as well. So just a heads up, make sure your active rosters are correct. And then finally, for Overwatch teams, I sent out a form to fill in the welcome email. Unfortunately, not many Overwatch teams have filled that out. I believe we have 8 of them. Please do get that filled out. Private profiles make it difficult to verify ranks, so we're just wanting to have those on hand. Into League of Legends here. Of course, it is 10 weeks of league gameplay. We've got the 7 weeks of regular season games and 3 weeks of the playoffs, all of which are best of 3s for all divisions, which all play at the same time, for your region. All games are tournament draft. That's nothing new, with the top 8 teams qualifying for the playoffs. And as per the previous seasons, Pro Draft is an option for teams that don't have all champions. So if a team does request this, it must be used. Is there a deadline for asking for rescheduling on any given week? So the deadline for rescheduling, I will actually get into that in a moment here, so bear with me. On the point system breakdown, everyone should be well versed in this for the League of Legends side of things, but I'm just going to go through it pretty quickly. We do have the point checker, the link to that in our useful resources channel in Discord. So that is where you can find out what division a team belongs in. I did have a question earlier this week about a team who is playing up a division, if that's allowed. It is definitely allowed. You just can't play down a division. So if a recommended division for a team is C and they're playing in B, that is perfectly acceptable. But if the recommended division is B and they're trying to play in C, that is not acceptable. So, of course, with the point system breakdown, based on your rank, you're assigned an amount of points. We take the top 5 ranked players and we take the sum of that to determine the value for which division they belong in. And given that this is kind of for all leagues, not just League of Legends, but given that the information for which a league team belongs to is so easily accessible, as I mentioned before, if a team is caught smurfing or found to have deceivingly registered for the incorrect league, penalizations against that team will occur, and more than likely those players will not be able to play if they don't qualify. Here's just another look at the point system breakdown. As I said, you can find that in the useful resources channel in Discord. As for Overwatch, the same kind of thing. 7 weeks of the regular season, 3 of the playoffs. These are all best of 5s, of course, with the top 8 teams in the playoffs. We do only have 8 teams for our Overwatch league, so all 8 will be making the playoffs. Of course, the seeding for the regular season will determine the seeding for the playoffs. The matches will use the competitive rule set with skins and kill cams disabled. Nothing new there, along with the sprays, emotes, and golden guns. This is the same as last season, so no changes. As I mentioned, Overwatch teams need to fill out that form that I sent over email as well. I can link that in the announcements channel as well after this. For Overwatch, we did change up the map pool. We left some from the last season, but added some new ones. The map rotation remains the same. Control to hybrid, assault, escort, and control again. We are continuing with the same tradition of our hero bans. If the Overwatch League continues with it, then we will use it. Otherwise, we will not implement hero bans of our own. Rocket League. Everything remains the same with Rocket League. 7 weeks of regular season, 3 weeks of playoffs, all best of 5s again. Nothing has changed with any of the settings, so just a reminder on that. Valorant is new for us, of course, so we are welcoming of any feedback that anyone has for the Valorant. We do only have a few teams participating, so it's the same format, best of 3s for the regular season with the best of 5s for the playoffs. And here's our map pool as well. Moving on, of course, our rules with toxicity remain unchanged. We have strict rules against this sort of stuff. One thing to remember is that we can't enforce anything that we don't see. So if you have an example of this actually happening, please take screenshots and whatnot, gather the necessary information for us to be able to take action. If there's not any proof, there's nothing we can really do there. So we are pretty strict on this as per usual, so please be mindful of this. For those of you who are new and are unsure kind of the procedure of what happens in terms of pretty much everything with your games, we send you an email that has all of your match information 48 hours prior to your game day, as well as an email on your game day, which includes the same information. In that email, it's got all the lobby information, your opponent's information, and so forth. With our regional leagues, we do highly recommend using Discord as the main source of contact for your opponents. There is the option for you to use our website chat. There is a link in the email that you receive with a link to that website chat. It's just a chat with your opponent, but given most collegiate teams do have Discord, we highly recommend utilizing that, especially since we have a bunch of channels available for you to report forfeits, substitutes, rescheduling, and so forth, which I'll get into momentarily. How to report match results, League of Legends, and if you're new, this might be new to you. If you've played with us before, this is going to be the same thing as before. League of Legends, obviously you don't need to report that since it is automatically reported, and all the stats get reported as well. Overwatch, Overwatch, Rocket League, and Valorant. We do have a score reporting channel for all of that. It has been cleared from our summer season, so that should be fresh for everybody. Be sure to include your screenshots and results of each individual game. This is important because with how our new tiebreaker system works, we are going to be utilizing individual matches more so than some of the other past tiebreakers we used in the past. It's nothing out of the ordinary or anything. I would highly suggest people to take a look at the rule book and take a look at the playoff seeding, playoff tiebreakers actually, in terms of how that works for your specific game. We do also want to be able to take individual scores for games like Rocket League if possible. This could also be helpful in the future for things like tiebreakers. We're going to be moving here to reschedules, subs, and promotions. Rescheduling games. So as someone had asked in the chat, games can be rescheduled to different days if they're requested and reported at least 24 hours prior to the scheduled game time. So if the team requests it 24 hours in advance, you need to post that in the reschedule reporting channel for your game. If both teams agree to reschedule, that's great. An emote and reaction in the chat is considered a suitable agreement as well. Feel free to ask people in the reschedule reporting channel. I would highly recommend actually just getting a hold of them over a DM instead. It's probably going to be a little bit easier, and then either team can report it in that channel just to let us know. You need to do that if you're going to be rescheduling. Otherwise, we won't really know what happens with the match. So just a heads up on that. Nothing has really changed with that. If it is less than 24 hours in advance, teams can reschedule to a different time during the day, but the opposing team really doesn't have any obligation to reschedule to a different day and can actually win via forfeit if you're trying to move to another day and they're unable to. Games were scheduled to a different day. They need to be played within 2 weeks of the originally scheduled date, as I said. The only exception for this, again, is the final 2 weeks of the regular season and the playoffs, dates of which will be TBD. Oh, the starting student is still on that. Thank you for letting me know. Substituting players. Teams must be on the teams must list their starters for the week at least 72 hours prior to the game time. You can do this by going to your team page and clicking on the roster. And then from there, you'll designate the 5 starters for League or Valorant, Rocket League, your 3 starters, and Overwatch, your 6. The scouting emails that are sent out 48 hours before, it will list the opponent's starters. So it's very important those are kept up to date. If you do need to make a change or after that amount of time, you should certainly notify your opponents, just because when they enter that lobby, they're going to expect to see those people that were listed in the email. If you do have questions about your team's roster or anything like that, don't hesitate to reach out to myself or one of the refs. We'd be more than happy to help you. And of course, if there are any disputes, please let us know. If there's anyone that's in a game that's ineligible, action will definitely be taken. The sub rules here, looking at each of these, subs may replace any of the players throughout the season, including during a match, but they must be listed on the roster 24 hours prior to game time. So you can't just start a game and add them 30 minutes before that and hope that they can sub. It's not how it's going to be able to work here. The playoffs, same rules as above, except they must have either been on the roster at the start of the season or have subbed at least once during the regular season. So you can't bring new players into your playoff team unless they've actually been a part of your team throughout the season. Subs can occur in the event of a player disconnect, max 1 per series. And then subs, of course, they can occur between games in a series as well. Moving on to game-specific sub rules. For League of Legends, this is nothing new. This is the same as the previous seasons. Subs can only be 2 tiers higher than the player they're replacing and cannot push your team over the point limit for your division. For Overwatch, we changed it to 3 subs per series, up from 1. Rocket League is now 2 series up from 2 players up from 1, and Valorant may sub up to 2 players per series as well. If you have any questions about this specifically, feel free to let us know, of course. The grace period and forfeits, these are all the same as well from the previous seasons. We do have a forfeit reporting channel for each of the games, so be sure that you are reporting these in those channels with screenshots when applicable for your team. Teams are going to have 15-minute grace period to be in the lobby with their full teams. After that, after the start time of their match here. For League of Legends, the team fully in the lobby will be granted a win for that week. Games will still be played if both teams agree, but the ruling for the forfeit will remain despite the results of the match. Nothing has changed there. For the other games, how it's going to work is if they're not in that game or in the lobby within the first 15 minutes, they're going to get a forfeit for the first map of the series. Then they're going to have an additional 10 minutes from that forfeit to field a team for the rest of the series. If they haven't done it, it will be a forfeit for the entire match. Typically, we don't have any issues with this, but we do need to have rules for forfeits. So if you do have any concerns about this, feel free to reach out to us. League of Legends mid-season promotions, players. This goes as well for Overwatch, since we do have a B division for Overwatch. Players are allowed to rank up during the season, so nothing really changes there. They're able to continue with that team as well throughout the season, no matter how much they rank up. Now, we don't want to punish people for continuing to get better throughout the season, given that our season does last a few months. Summer feedback survey gift card winners. We sent out a survey at the end of the summer season. Thank you to everybody who filled that out. We got a lot of valuable feedback that we have implemented into our seasons or into our fall season. Our winners were Travis from Graceland, Jackson from Cincinnati, Colin from Concordia Uni of Wisconsin, Stephen from Oklahoma Christian, and Drew from Iowa State. You will get sent your gift cards via email, so be on the watch out for that. All right, well, that wraps it up in terms of everything that we've got to present to you guys. Like I said, a lot of this is stuff that I sent out in the email a few days ago. If you're new, some of this will have been new to you. If you've played with us before, it's probably just a refresher and a couple updates on some of the changes we made. Does anyone have any questions in chat for us? Refinery, I noticed that, like I said, I hope I was able to answer your question on the deadline for rescheduling. Did you have any further questions about that? How do hero bans work for Overwatch? Yes, it is based on the Overwatch League. So if there aren't if the Overwatch League isn't going on or there's no no hero bans, then we're not going to deal with it. That is strictly based on the Overwatch League. If we don't have a team logo yet, who can we DM on Discord and send it to? Send that to me. That would be Joe. I'm under the league manager role on the Discord. Just feel free to shoot over a DM if you have that. It doesn't have to be a PNG. It can be a JPEG. That's perfectly fine as well. What was the form again that captains need to fill out by tonight? I think I just missed that. Yes, I will send that out in the announcements channel following this. It is in the email that we sent out a couple of days ago to everybody, but only the captains need to fill it out. Again, we really need captains to fill that out. It is so we have that information on file, so teams can get a hold of each other pretty easily, since we do use Discord as the main source of contact for our regional leagues. You didn't get the form. I will. Okay, I'll go ahead and make sure that's in the announcements channel. Just keep an eye out for that as well. No, for league, it's not the average skill level of the 5 highest players. It's the sum of the 5 highest players. So if you go to our useful resources channel in Discord and click on the team point checker, I believe it's called, for League of Legends, and you enter in your top 5 players' ranks, each of them are assigned a point value, which creates a sum of points, obviously. And then there's a cutoff for each division in terms of where you would fall. So if you've got over, I think like 4,000, you would fall into the A division. You wouldn't be able to play in B, and so forth. That information is on that document, but it's not the average. No. If you tell the players on the Overwatch teams to make their profiles public, will that be enough, or should I email you each of 5 players? Also, how much for... If you let me know, shoot me a DM over Discord so I can ensure I know which team that is, so I can, look those up manually. That should suffice. How much time is there in between best of 3 matches? Typically not too long. Teams are allowed a break, 5, 10. If teams want to agree to a little bit more time, that's perfectly fine. The only time that that could be an issue is when we have a stream. Usually the time between stream games are maybe like 10 or 15 minutes. So it's a little more strict in terms of, how much time you get. But if it's not a streamed game and you are able to coordinate that with your opponents, that's perfectly fine. I'm the president for my esports club at my school, and I created the Overwatch team and invited my team. Is there a way to transfer ownership of the team or captain to the actual team captain? Good question. Yes, you can. Shoot me a message over Discord, GGL Joe. Let me know the team name and either the full name of the person who's going to be the captain or their alias, whichever is fine. And then I can appoint them as the captain on the website. Are you allowed to stream our games? I don't believe we have allowed teams to stream their games in the past. You're more than welcome to record them.
We can stream.
We can stream.
They can.
They can't?
They can.
No, they can. Okay.
They can stream the games.
They can stream the games, but they have to be wary of
if the other team finds out.
The other team finds out, kind of thing. So like, be careful putting a
what's it called? A delay on.
What's it called? A delay on it. So make sure to do that.
Okay. All right. So you can.
That's basically like the idea. For sure.
Yeah, you for sure you can.
All right. Sorry about the echo there, guys. So you can stream it, but definitely understand that you're like Shadow said, that your opponent can definitely see the stream. So it would only benefit you to have a delay. Any further questions? And if anything comes up from anyone, something wasn't clear, like I said, we're going to have this up hopefully on YouTube sometime tomorrow for anyone to take a look at it. And you, of course, can always ask questions over Discord. I'm pretty available. Feel free to shoot me a DM. That's typically going to work better if it's evening hours. So you need to fix my roster, but I don't have control over it. Should I message you after this? Yes. Yeah. Feel free to shoot me a DM, and we can take care of it. All right. Well, I don't see any other questions. Thank you everyone for tuning in. If you joined us late, be sure to drop a message in the Fall Captains Meeting roll call channel. That's under the statewide league info. It's kind of high up in the Discord. Drop the message in there letting us know which team you are. That way we can, kind of keep track of who is at the meeting. Thank you everyone for joining us. About 26 minutes. Not too bad. Good luck in your matches. If you ever have any questions or anything, like I said, don't hesitate to reach out. Shadows, like one more time, I want to let you guys know that Shadows will be kind of the main point of contact during league night itself. He will be actively, answering your questions in Discord, reporting scores, and so forth. So definitely don't hesitate to reach out to him as the ref. Thanks again, guys, and we will see you soon.